everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. We're going to jump on into some high block capital data and kind of help understand if this ascending trend will hold. It's not looking great because we're coming down to retest it already, and oftentimes the third retest of a trend line can break. Okay, so we got to be realistic here in the fact that the price action could continue lower. So I would just say prime up some of those shorts here for a lot of these altcoins because a majority of them are going to start to fall again as well as altcoin dominance drops. Okay, so we'll take a look at all that and much more. So if you're new to the channel, really love to teach people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. And if you want to become part of our trading community, we have some awesome traders. Minus this guy, take a look at this here really quick. There's a lot of impersonators out there. Keep that in mind. So please do not trust anyone who direct messages you. I am not Crypto Cash 1. I am Crypto Cash. Okay, so again, you see the difference here? There is no dot, period, exclamation, whatever. I am legitimately the only Crypto Cash out there. So if somebody direct messages you, do not trust it. It's not real. Thank you, JCXB, for providing that to our community. Also, thanks again to our community members for the wonderful feedback. We took 7 days for 120% on our leverage short, AVAX short at 50%, and I believe we had another, oh, there we go, ZRX 50% in 8 hours as well. So awesome shorts open at this point, definitely taking some profits. So congrats again on that. Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. So what we want to look at first here, let's just go ahead and summarize this. We haven't touched on this in a little while. Bitcoin dominance continues to increase. Okay, so as Bitcoin dominance increases, altcoins tend to suffer. Now, just to kind of bring perspective here, this is one of my best way to kind of visually describe what's going on here. When Bitcoin dominance comes up, it's typically bad for alts. Okay, so just keep in mind altcoins are starting to have some trouble. We see Bitcoin dominance up, the price of Bitcoin comes down, altcoins dump. The main reason why is because money's coming away from Bitcoin and specifically coming away from altcoins. So right now we're kind of in that dump phase / stable phase where Bitcoin is trying to stabilize, but is having difficulty. Please recognize that we're not in a fantastic, awesome environment right now with Bitcoin dominance coming up and altcoin dominance essentially dropping in the overall sense the last 2 weeks. Okay, so not fantastic there in that sense. Now it does tend to bounce eventually. We will see alt dominance continue to increase hopefully in the near future, but for right now, not looking great. Okay. Also keep in mind with CME futures, we do have this gap, of course, from before. Just kind of bring it to your attention. We're still looking at that 21,000 mark as a rough estimate of the price action potentially getting filled at some point. There's not 100% guarantee on that, but just know if the price does drop down at 26,000 mark, we could very well see a retest of that level based on the fact that there's tons of liquidity there. So let's talk about that here, in fact, with the back end data here. So for this current situation here, right now we can see a lot of shorts are entering the market right now with liquidation levels at 28,400. So the price were to wake up back up to 28.5, we'll see a short squeeze. Okay? But the truth is here, there's a lot more room down here than there is up here. So in all reality, we're still more so along the lines of a ascending trend. Okay, we've already established that, but generally speaking, with the liquidations being so low here, there's a great chance that we won't see the price drop. It may continue to bleed to that level, but it'd be very surprising if the price just shot straight to that level. But just know, we hit that 26,000 range, we're going to have somewhat of a free fall past that. Okay, so I've actually got some egregious limit orders in the 21, 23, 24,000 range, just in case that were to happen. Taking a look here at the longs, we've got a tremendous amount more longs than shorts in the market right now. This is aggregated across multiple exchanges, so we can see that the general bias is still long. Obviously, we lose 27,000, that will shift, and the probability will decrease with the amount of longs coming through. Overall, we also see more whales are active here today. Obviously, retail a little bit more so on the weekends. Pretty standard stuff there. And if we come down here as well to our heat map, we can kind of see with open interest for our long positions that we are looking at a lot of longs in the red. Longs are hedged about 27,600. Okay, so 27.6, we got a decent amount of longs. Secondary most amount of longs at 27,450. So overall, majority of longs are red in the market right now. Big surprise with the price action opening pretty poorly here today. We can see a lot of shorts, crazy late shorts at 27,300. Okay, so ultimately not the greatest thing here with that situation. So all in all, kind of bearish in the overall sense of things. We take a look at the last 7 days. In fact, why don't we go ahead and we'll add a few exchanges here to get to kind of an average. We might also want to look at the monthly too, but if we look at the weekly here for the most part, we can see that in the last week, we've got a large amount of liquidations at 27,000. So if we do test 27K, we're going to see a lot of liquidations. That's roughly 140,000 in liquidations alone. Okay? So keep in mind that's not awesome. Okay. Same thing here with 1 month. We have, as I've mentioned previously, and I send this out on my Twitter here. You can kind of see that we have an overall. Where is it? Put it right here. A lot of liquidation at 26,000. I don't think that's changed much, but generally speaking, that's what we're seeing here right now at 26,000. Between 25 and 26,000, we have the largest amount of volume in liquidations. And if you look at that, that's almost $500 million in liquidation, right at about 25.2. That is a terrible, terrible price point for us to hit. We'd see a lot of longs shaken out of their position. Okay, so again, just some friendly advice. Be careful on how you leverage your trades. Use large leverage. Make sure to use low position sizing. And if you're going to use low leverage, still keep low position size so you don't get wrecked. You have some freedom and flexibility in your trades. Most of our trades, even though we took 120% on our leverage short, for example, that was a 5x leverage trade. Had it been 20x, that would have been 480%, right? So again, greater success, but more margin for error because your liquidation level comes so close to your entry that it's almost not worth it. Okay, so just some friendly advice there. All right, so take a look here at the daily. All right, let's work our way down. Take a look at a few key factors here. We can kind of see that RSI is still above 50. Money flow index is still high. It's starting to come down, of course, so that's pretty standard for the situation. It does imply we have somewhat of a support here at the current price point, but once again, not a ton of volume. I mean, if we look and we zoom in a little bit, we can see it kind of increase. But generally speaking, we don't have a ton of volume in the overall since the last few months of trading in this range. Okay? But within the last month, roughly, we have the largest volume accumulation at 25.8. Secondary most amount is kind of where we're at right now at about 27.4. Okay. All right, so overall, not great. We have a MACD divergence on the horizon. If we diverge here, of course, that could be negative. And obviously, if we were to pass below the 20-day SMA, that would also be disadvantageous. So what we're looking for here is the price action to maintain its current range and to hopefully work its way up and to squeeze to the upside here and to break upwards. That would be fantastic. That being said, we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of key factors here. In the 4-hour time frame, I like to look at the MACD and obviously the RSI. Those are somewhat of my standard indicators on these time frames. The main reason why is because we kind of can see here that we've broken tentatively bearish on the midterm time frame here. So since Monday, which was yesterday, of course, we broke below 50 in the RSI. That implies that we're no longer bullish and that the transition to a bearish sentiment is here. So that really implies the next few days, unless we see the price action break a higher high here soon, we're going to be in a situation where the price action will continue to break down. We can also acknowledge here, and I send this out on my Telegram and Twitter and Discord as well for my playout charts, you can see that we are potentially looking at a lower low here. So as soon as we cross this plane at about 27,000, we're going to see that lower low officially established. Right now, we're kind of at parallel lows. We've wicked down a couple of times to 27.2 and haven't broken yet. But as we continue to retest, the more like it's going to break, right? So I think it's best to train ourselves that worst case scenario, the price is going to come down. But in truth, we are still ascending positively here with higher lows and essentially higher highs on the daily and the 4-hour time frame. But you got to keep in mind too, that's somewhat of a flag pattern, right? And bear flags have a tendency of breaking down. Okay, so I think that we are still on the precipice of a lower price point, and shorts are probably going to be much more profitable than longs at this point. So just please understand that. The 1 hour, let's go ahead and double check this here as well, Ichimoku Cloud. We're still below the cloud, even though we're fairly range bound, so not really super important. When we take a look at TD sequential, we came down to a 9 previously, consolidated. Now we're back on down to a reset at 6. So we have this potential double bottom pattern here. I don't buy into that too much considering it's a 1 hour time frame. And again, smaller the time frame, the less likely the playouts are going to occur. Okay. So again, all in all, at this point, it's getting more and more bearish. But once again, Bitcoin's really good about, or the whales are really good about getting you to think it's going to go one way and it goes the other. So sometimes it sounds crazy, but sometimes you can apply the opposite logic of what should happen and it's going to occur. So price is likely going to come down. I'm speculating we're going to see some kind of shift in momentum with some kind of liquidation hunt, either to the upside or the downside, then a quick reversal. Okay, so we could very well see a power of 3 where the price action comes into a range and breaks down and then instantly breaks up after liquidity is swept. All right, let's take a quick peek at liquidity, see if there are any levels we want to pay attention to. This lower liquidity level has almost already been swept. and this price action up above could be as well. So in fact, let's just touch on that really quick here, so you can kind of see we've got this range here, right? We could have a secondary range that comes down here to sweep this liquidity, and then typically the third range is going to match or increase this previous part right here. Okay, so the most recent high should be swept as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the price action come down here to break that trend line, convince everyone that we're going bearish, and then the price action to shoot back up to sweep all these late shorts. Okay, it happens time in and time again. So just be mindful and be careful of that. We got a lot of liquidity above and below the current price action. Almost anything could happen, but truth is, in the immediate future, we probably should expect the price to come down first before it comes back up. That would make the most sense. All right, that's kind of where we're at here. I hope this made sense and that helps you a lot. Future reference, I'm going to have some awesome a new exchange that we're going to be working with here soon. That's really available in the US, no KYC, no VPN. They rival BingX, but they have some other benefits too that I want to be aware of. So I'll be bringing that to your attention here in the near future, working on that. Again, mainly so I can bring more opportunities to my members with discounts and promotions, because it's nice to be able to have those little benefits when they come along here once in a while. So thanks again so much for watching. Either way, jump on over to our Telegram, Twitter, Discord, like, follow, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Greatly appreciate your support and all the wonderful members who are coming over to our Discord and jumping on over to our conversations. And we have a good 5 or 10 people jumping on in here daily. It's a really, really cool situation. So thanks again for all that. And I appreciate you, Zach, as well, for just being an awesome admin. Really appreciate you too, sir. Thank you very much.